What long-held, scientific, assertions were refuted only within the last 10 years?
You have eyelashes. Living in your eyelash pores are mites.
It was believed for the longest time that these mites did not have anuses and did not defecate.
They would simply grow and grow, until they filled with too much poop and simply popped. In the last 10 years it has been discovered that, no, these mites do in fact have anuses.
This is important work.
Neptune isn't dark blue.
A draining lymphatic system of the brain was discovered in just 2016.
Before that it was thought that there was no lymphatic system in the brain. Wild that we are still discovering major systems of human anatomy this recently.
The crisis in cosmology is less than 10 years old. Basically, we had a theory about how the universe formed and how old galaxies were from observations from Hubble and other telescopes. When the James Webb Space Telescope came online, it could look way further, and it found galaxies that shouldn't exist. Then it found more and more and more. Basically, our two ways of dating galaxies no longer agree with each other, and that disagreement keeps getting larger and larger, and no one knows who is right, or more likely both are wrong.
Good video primer on the subject. Most dinosaurs having had feathers is kind of a big one, considering they all are depicted as big, featherless, lizards. The big lizard look is so ingrained in society that we just sort of decided to ignore it. Not really a refutation, but I always thought the redefinition of a kilogram was pretty cool.
Instead of relying on physical items to define a kilogram, all of which diverged in mass anyway, scientists developed a watt balance, so that a kilogram would be dependent on physical constants.
I think they also changed the definition of a coulomb, by some fractionally small amount. Edit. Wikipedia article for more context, info.
Boar are becoming more radioactive in the Chernobyl area due to their digging and foraging. The deer are becoming less radioactive due to their eating at, above the surface.
The boar are digging down far enough to hit isotopes from Russian nuclear weapons testing. The food pyramid.
They basically flipped it upside down a while back, rendering what we'd been taught for decades as utterly wrong.
Like 11,000 papers have been retracted in the last 2 years for fraud, and it's the tip of iceberg. I believe a Nobel laureate had their cancer research retracted. Garter snakes are venomous. Doesn't quite count because it was discovered in the early 2000s.
Brains not containing a lymphatic system with the discovery of meningeal lymphatic vessels.
Eating eggs doesn't raise serum cholesterol in the body. Egg white fat is going away.
In a grand round I listened to last year, I learned that the theory that aluminum causes Alzheimer's and dementia had been disproven, and now the focus is on pesticides.
ITT, people not realizing 10 years ago was 2014.
The monoamine theory of depression, the theory that imbalances in things like dopamine, serotonin, GABA, etc., as the primary cause of depression. The prevailing theory now, I believe, is more related to how large amounts of stress physically damage certain areas of the brain. This can cause individuals who are vulnerable or have predisposition to develop depression, or other mental disorders.